And we are live with our 26th edition of Nansen Office Hours. Alex, how you doing this week?
Doing well. Surviving, as they say. How are you doing?
Surviving the bear? Yes, me too. Surviving. Not fully thriving, but surviving.
Still alive, not fully liquidated.
Correct. Yeah. Today we've got some lo-fi in the background. We're turning this into Nansen Lounge.
And you've got your ASMR microphone, which is good.
Exactly. Welcome to Nansen Office Hours. All right, let's not scare some people away here. We've got a few things that we wanted to cover today. I think one of the first things is probably this wild credit exploit type thing that just happened in the last 24 hours. What else do we have on deck?
We also have a few new dashboards or reskinned dashboards that we can show off to people.
That is true. And right now, gas is extremely low, or at least it was like 15 minutes ago when I checked. So maybe we can dig into that as well and figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, let's just dive in. Feel free to screen share. We'll swap out of this cool cyberpunk motorcycling background, and we'll do something else here. By the way, for anyone watching, we'll give proper credit to this. This is lofi.cafe. You can check it out on the interwebs if you like listening to lo-fi in the background as you work or as you shitcoin or as you trade or do whatever you do. So feel free to share your screen and we'll swap over.
All right.
And today, I think we can actually test out having this this lo-fi music on for like 15, 20 minutes, and then we'll swap out. People in the chat can let us know if they like it or if they don't. And maybe this will be a new thing for future ones.
So just voice your opinion.
Please do. Yeah. All right.
This is an MVP. Where to start? I mean, I love the gas tracker dashboard. So looks like we're cruising at around 40 Gwei, creeping up towards 50 Gwei. But it's been really low. It's been like, look at this, 24 Gwei. Haven't seen that in a while. Generally speaking, a lot less ether being spent on gas. 90,000 ether was spent last week. Only 52,000 ether spent on gas in the last 7 days. Yeah, so it's actually the week before those 7 days. So 14 to 7 days ago. Still the usual suspects, though, I think. So Binance, Coinbase, Huobi, KuCoin, OKX, FTX, Kraken, etc. BlockFi, Wintermute, which is a market maker, very active, are the top gas spenders. And if you scroll down to the smart contracts, Uniswap still the top one, although you can see some interesting things here. So, for example, Compound, when things were really getting crazy with liquidations, there was a pretty hefty spike here on Compound gas usage, probably due to liquidations happening. And Aave is now also one of the most used, actually the second most used smart contract based project on Ethereum. 5.6% of the top 20 is being spent by Aave at that point, and even went up to like 10% here and 12% during liquidations. So it's funny how you see Aave and Compound really like becoming more dominant when you have turbulence in the markets because of the liquidations that have to happen. And also people updating their positions in Aave and Compound to save their collateral.
In future iterations of this dashboard, can we make it so that you can highlight a certain portion of time and zoom in on it? For example, like it would be quite interesting to just be able to highlight that zone during the liquidations
this one here,
and inspect it more closely. Yeah.
Yeah, to like zoom in and see what's happening. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. SCP is here, the mysterious SCP entity, which we will mention a bit later as well. But Uniswap is cruising at around 19% of gas usage. That's actually quite a lot less. So you see, actually, all of these are spending less gas, right? But minus 45% seems to be, a bit more than some of these other ones. I mean, it's similar to Wrapped Ether and Tether, for example. But it's been cruising at like 30 to 35% in the weeks before this, with both Uniswap V2 and V3 being used very actively. You still see the Uniswap V2 router here. You still see the V3 router. But notably, you don't see a lot of dog coins.
Thank God. Do you think it makes sense in the entity coverage to separate out Uniswap V2 and Uniswap V3? Just because they are kind of, at this point, different protocols-ish?
Yeah. I mean, there are different products. That's true. To me, it kind of makes sense to have them as one. For example, like they're both governed by like the same uni token, right? So to me, it's like one project. But yeah, maybe it could be an idea where you can actually break it out, where you can like drill down on it or something. But you do kind of get the breakdown here, right? With just the swap, the routers. So you get an idea of like how much is being used, at least by the router contracts. Like V2 is spending 7%. The swap router here is spending only 2.88%. So less than half.
It'd be an interesting interface. Sorry, just thinking out loud here. When hovering over those, the entity coverage above. So for example, like if you hover over Uniswap, on CoinGecko, if you pull up CoinGecko and you open up any of the different tokens and you check the circulating supply.
Oh yeah, you have like the breakdown.
Maybe not Ethereum.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, not the best example.
Pick Aave maybe.
This one, right? Yeah, you get this breakdown.
Something like that. So so as you hover over Uniswap, you would have an interface like this pop up with the calculations on the different, wallets that are contributing to that.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it. With Uniswap, you have thousands, but you would be able to just
maybe
do
show
like the 5, right?
Top,
and then other
top 5 ... last one or something.
That's cool. Good idea. I like it. Yeah, but I want to point out like this comment about the dog coins. I mean, they used to be very present here, so I think it is genuinely like partly the reason why gas price is lower now. There's like no dog coins there. We used to have both SHIB and what's the other one?
There's so many.
Yeah,
I mean, there's Woofy as well was pretty active on here.
Yeah, but there was also the other one, right? What was it called? Kinshu or whatever. Not Akita. Yeah. Anyway, like 2 of these dog coins were basically consistently in the top 10. Consuming a lot of gas, and they're not here. So that could be one reason why gas price is down.
The Numerai erasure is quite interesting.
Yeah.
New entrant.
Definitely
there.
Pumping. Yeah, that's interesting. Also, this land thing. What the hell is this?
It's probably a land sale for some sort of NFT.
Sandbox is land. Interesting. Might want to drill down on this, but it shows the gas tracker can actually be used sometimes for discovery as well, to discover new things you didn't know about. Just gonna have a quick look at this. We did some changes here in the wallet profiler. Like, for example, I think now the layout of day of week and hour of day is a bit better. You can actually see the whole view in like this in one screen. You don't have to like scroll up and down too much. It's being pretty slow though.
The dog token you were mentioning was it Kuma?
Might have been. I have a feeling it was something with a K and an I. But yeah, I'm sure there must be someone in the chat who knows this stuff.
Luigi guessed Kuma. Powder Monkey 99 guessed Doge. So we're not quite there yet.
Doge. Yeah, we're not that boomers. We know Doge.
Well, actually, only the boomers know Doge.
Yeah,
the real boomers, the OGs, and the boomers and the zoomers. No one in the middle.
By the way, it looks like this contract has been live for a while, but it was like pumping up again. So I don't know if they're just selling more stuff.
I feel like right now with this Ember Sword launch in how many hours? Embersword.com. The sale starts in 2 hours and 8 minutes. Maybe there is an increase in land sales.
Could be.
And for context, for anyone watching, that is a new game that is launching. They're doing a land sale. So basically, for some of the more expensive land, it's like 30 ETH or something like that.
Is it Ember Sword?
Correct, yeah.
This one, yeah. Look at this, 2 hours. Yeah, do your own research.
Yeah, sorry. To be clear, not financial advice.
Yeah, we have no idea.
I don't really know enough about this, but I've just seen people talk about land as a pretty valuable investment in the NFT space, at least as far as games are concerned.
Mm-hmm. Could be worth looking at. It's going to be interesting to see in the gas tracker, because I imagine it's going to jump up there.
Yeah.
So possibly. That could also be a good idea to watch out for that, and see also in hot contracts. If you see, is it ETH or is it like stablecoin based? You know, the way you pay for the land. I guess it's ETH, but I don't actually know.
Probably ETH.
So then you can also keep an eye on hot contracts, because I imagine that people are gonna ape into the sale, and then you can see who is actually aping in by doing wallet profiler on it.
Yeah. Okay. So if you go to embersword.com and then click
Kuma Inu. I think this is the one, right? Kuma
Inu. There we
go.
Yeah. Luigi wins the prize.
Okay, congrats.
So on embersword.com, if you click the land sale button at the top, it scrolls down and you can see the 4 different types of land you can buy. You can buy a plot, you can buy a settlement, you can buy a town, or you can buy a city. And each one has a different price based in ETH. So yeah, I'm guessing we'll see a pretty big spike in gas prices in 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh, wrapped Ethereum on Polygon.
On Polygon. Oh, so maybe not. Good to know.
Then you probably won't see it there, because we don't have Polygon supporting hot contracts yet, but it is coming within a few weeks.
Would they see it in the Polygon ecosystem dashboard?
Yeah, they might actually see it there. Yeah. Although, yeah, we would need to make sure that we actually have full tagging on the contracts. So if anyone in our team is watching this, might be a good idea to hunt for those.
Well, I'm sure Ed will be keeping a close eye on it. For anyone who hasn't seen yet, we posted this week an article at nansen.ai/research about the compelling case for NFT gaming that was written by I'm not sure, Yuffie, yeah, on our team, and it breaks down the different phases of NFT gaming, starting from Axie, which is just kind of an NFT, to play to earn. Sorry, not Axie. CryptoKitties, which is just sort of a collectible type thing, and then going into Axies, which is more play to earn, and now we're at a phase which is play to earn plus higher quality games, and then the following phase after this will be kind of like AAA games with all of those interesting features that crypto games. Juicy Tamburgers. Wow, I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, it's a really well researched piece. It's very long, but it's definitely worth reading if you are curious on this particular niche, because it might become really big. Like gaming is huge, right? And personally, I'm a big believer in NFT gaming. I think it's gonna get really big, and at some point, it's not just going to be kind of blockchain based or blockchain projects making games. It's going to be the gaming companies actually moving into the blockchain space, and so these ecosystems can be like massive, right? And it seems kind of obvious that if you create these metaverses, obviously the assets that exist in those metaverses are going to be on blockchains, right? Like if you want it to become really big, there's just no way that you can keep having these like centralized gaming platforms forever. I think, once the Pandora's box has been opened when it comes to getting assets on the blockchain for like the big gaming studios, it's going to be like insanely large. But yeah, you can read actual like research and estimates and data in this piece that Yuffie put together.
What is the the best way to track this growth from the Nansen side? How are you viewing that? So with fungible tokens, you can have dashboards like Token God Mode or Wallet Profiler, and because they're fungible and quite similar, one dashboard can cover a bunch of different projects. You don't need to make any major customizations. But with non-fungible ones, each one is quite unique. So how do we track these things in a generalizable way, if at all?
Yeah, so they are unique, but at the same time, they do follow a standard, right? So that means you can look at like the top holders. You can look at, traction, like activity and trading it. You can look at trading volume on different marketplaces. So even if the tokens are unique, they do have some common elements. And we do have another analyst in our team who is right now working on shipping basically NFT God Mode, so that you could plug in any NFT address and you can get stats on it. So that is, it is only not, we've been saying we're going to make this for a while, but now someone is actually literally working on it. And so I would say right now, what you can use Nansen for when it comes to NFTs is to track the individual sales, like as we just talked about, like gas usage, ether flowing into contracts and so on. But the kind of higher level, sort of broader overview, we don't have a really good way to track that at the moment. So when we get this NFT God Mode dashboard out, maybe that will be, one way to keep track of it.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting to pull up token sales on Wallet Profiler whenever they're happening.
Yeah, definitely.
And basically you can, so for like hash masks or for Meebits or any of these ones where they were selling NFTs for ETH, you can just plug in the sale wallet into Wallet Profiler and then sort by volume in, and you can see these huge buyers. For example, like Pranksy during the Meebits sale was spending a lot on acquiring Meebits.
That's right. Yeah, that's a great way to use it, actually. So the combination of like discovery first, like seeing something pop up in hot contracts or in the gas tracker dashboard, and then drilling down on it by using Wallet Profiler is quite powerful.
In the chat,
the Gitcoin distributor.
Yeah, that was so that's on hot contracts. That was an airdrop that just happened this week.
Yeah, you can look this up in top recipients. I've not looked at this at all, actually.
I'm sure there's some huge ones. Basically, anyone who kind of interacted with Gitcoin by, was it both donations and like so donors and receivers?
Yeah, pretty much any. I think pretty much any form of activity. You would get some. I got some because I've both funded lots of open source projects, and we also had an open source project on Gitcoin which received funding. So yeah, we also did lots of bounties and stuff for this open source project. So I was fortunate to get some. Evgeny, one of the other Nansen co-founders, got a pretty massive chunk because he was like running the actual Ethereum ETL project there, which received quite a lot of funding and was quite active. So yeah, he received a nice chunk.
Yeah, I got a little chunk as well.
Look at these guys.
From donating.
Our friend Sasal.eth. 85,000.
So I think it's trading at around $6 right now. So that's a pretty healthy.
Look at that. Andre Cornet got $600,000.
Not bad at all.
Let's see.
Who's okboomer.eth? I'd like to see their other
I don't know.
wallet labels.
We can have a look afterwards. Here too, as you pointed out, we should probably have a hover over and you just see the other labels, right? I think you've said that before.
Yeah.
XDAI, we can. It's pretty cool actually because Wallet Connect. That's funny. Defiant.eth. PW, I think that's Patricio. Warthalter. Gitcoin grants. It's pretty cool actually because many of these people are kind of, open about their addresses, right? Like they obviously have a public profile. Julien. Nice. Snapshot.eth, dude.eth. Let's see. Yeah, so this is pretty cool actually. VFAT, 21,000.
Yeah, this one more than other airdrops really highlights like if you just really contribute and participate in the Ethereum ecosystem, you can get pretty outsized returns.
Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty cool actually. This dashboard is quite nice. This, YAM deployer. Pretty cool.
But yeah, so these are all like recipients for the most part, right?
These are all recipients.
Like these aren't. Oh, I guess Andre donated a ton. I think last season or maybe a couple seasons ago, if I recall correctly. At near the end of DeFi summer, there was a ton of donations.
Okay. Here you see the first ones to claim, which is also kind of interesting, right? They're the folks like who were on the ball, just jumped straight into claim.
We should probably change that thing that says first in, since it's not really first in.
Yeah, that's true. Like first into their wallet, I guess is one way to think about it. Look at this one.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's a good one. Multi-second. That's a pretty interesting list, actually. Anyway, I guess people can check this out. We can drop should we drop this link somewhere? Or should we just tweet it? Should we just tweet it live? We have a look. See. Top Gitcoin recipients.
Make sure you're not logged into your alt.
Oh yeah. Maybe we can do a little screenshot as well, since we're here. Top recipients. Boom. Tweeting live. How fun.
Can we make that little education button like removable?
Yeah. That's some feedback you can give to the product team.
Yeah. Also, the color seems a bit off.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah, it's not. It's maybe not exactly. Yeah, you're right. It's not the same. It's like not too bad, I think. But yeah. All right. Cool. So that was hot contracts. We just saw the Gitcoin distributor because it had a lot of smart money interaction. We dropped the link there in the chat, or in our Twitter. What else should we look at? So
John's in the chat. John's in the chat.
Cool.
He said you can drag that little education thing around.
Oh,
I didn't know.
I had no idea. I'm gonna put it over here.
Yeah.
That's cool.
How far out can you hide it? Yeah.
It is pretty cool though. Like if people haven't seen
really
it,
cool.
you can click it and you can actually go through these videos. And because many people tell us that they are not sure how to use Nansen. And so now you can just click this button and go through all the videos and become a Nansen master in a very short amount of time. it's very high ROI, I would say, on your time to do this.
Yeah. But by the way, in the chat, please let us know if the music is too loud in the background here. We don't mind turning it off.
I can't even hear the music anymore.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's gone. Yeah, maybe it's gone.
Maybe I've just been listening to it on my own here.
I think actually when I shared my screen, probably we nuked the music.
Oh wow! I've just been listening to it the whole time. I've been kind of thinking like this is kind of fun.
That's hilarious.
Hold on, let me see if I can turn it on. Okay, but now it's on, right?
Now it's on, yeah. Nice.
Ah, dang.
All right. Should we do a little tour of the V2 dashboards?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So ETH Tracker. This is a dashboard that shows what's happening with Ether in particular. And so this was actually extremely high alpha if you paid attention before the market crash, because looking at this chart, you can see how much Ether was flowing into and out of exchanges. And we mark the bars here as red when there's more incoming Ether, because, for example, if someone's going to sell a lot of the Ether, they have to send it to an exchange. And so that, could, in some cases, indicate that the price is going to tank because people are going to sell a lot of Ether. And the 19th of May, what was that? That was basically Wednesday, right? Last week. More than 400,000 Ether went into exchanges. Actually more than that, but in net terms, more than 400,000. So way more Ether went into exchanges than went out of exchanges. And then the 23rd of May, which was, I think, Sunday, another more than 300,000 Ether went in. And in the meantime, there was very little net movement, right? So it's those two spikes, both of them were larger than anything we've seen since November. And I actually don't know I haven't looked how far back you have to go to find as big of an Ether inflow as this, but this is pretty massive. The next one would be this little bump here on 3rd of January, which was 223,000. But this was more than 400,000, right? Interestingly, on the 24th, there was more than 300,000 going out of exchanges. And so we don't have a price chart overlaid here, but you could just go to CoinGecko and have a look at how the prices fared in the last 7 days, for example. Let's see here. So actually, I'm going to zoom out to 14 days. So 19th, right? That was here. Tons of Ether went into exchanges, and price went down to 2,300 and actually kept going down. And then there was another one on the 23rd around here, and that took us down to 1,855 Ether. And then on the 24th, the funds started flowing out. So I don't know if you can see it here, but that's basically when it starts recovering the price. So this is actually quite interesting to follow, and you can also see the breakdown of where you have the most ETH, which exchanges have the most ETH. So Coinbase and Binance are the top ones. It's also quite a fair amount on Gemini, but much less than say Binance, which has 5.4 million Ether, and Coinbase, which has 8.4 million.
What is the cutoff time for the dates? It's in UTC, yeah?
Yeah, that's right, UTC. You can also see just ETH on-chain flow volume. So just in gross terms, where the Ether is going through in transactional volume. And actually, the biggest one is actually Uniswap. That's where, because it's on-chain, everything that happens with Uniswap is on-chain, right? So there's a lot of Ether that passes through there, but even in something like Binance, on a daily basis, you can have millions of Ether flowing through Binance. This shows contracts deployed on Ethereum, and it's pretty cool because it shows, for example, gas tokens being quite popular for a while, like empty contracts being popular for a while, which was I think the first version of gas tokens made use of empty contracts. And then this Kai token, which has kind of taken the place of gas token, is more popular now. And so I've seen people celebrate like, oh, wow, this month we had more than 2 million contracts deployed on Ethereum. Well, I mean, you have to keep in mind that most of those contracts are basically dummy contracts that are used for like gas optimization. They're not actual, like, there's not like 2 million DeFi protocols being launched in a month, right? And then you can see Ether, like large Ether. Oh, look at this. Transactions. All these Binance and Bitfinex transactions. And then you see like Justin Sun, boom, sending 222,000 Ether into liquidity.
That was just 21 hours ago.
Yeah.
Is that so? During the
market
craziness, he mentioned that he was pretty close to getting liquidated, but he also mentioned he bought a boatload of ETH.
Yeah,
maybe that's the ETH that he bought.
Could be. He seems to have moved it into liquidity borrower operations. So I guess he's minting LUSD. Yeah, he's minting an insane amount of LUSD. Is that like 1 billion in total?
What are you looking at?
No. Sorry. I'm reading this wrong.
150 mil, right?
Yeah.
Where did you get 1 billion from?
I saw like 791. I read 791 million, which doesn't make any sense. Yeah, 151 million is like still pretty insane amount.
Pretty crazy.
And then you can see here, top volume addresses is pretty cool as well. You can see which addresses have the most Ether flowing through them. So again, like Binance has a lot, but also like Uniswap has a ton of Ether that flows through it, and like Fei also.
Is the team behind Liquidity known?
I think so. I mean, at least their advisors are known. Like Ashley, who used to work at MakerDAO and now works at Uniswap, I think is one of the advisors.
Got it. Okay. What's that, if you scroll up a bit, that Ape V3?
Yeah, this is like some kind of Flash bot or Flash loan bot. I've not looked at it very closely, but it's quite often here. It doesn't make, well, it has like 6,400 and something transactions and processes big amount of Ether. Not sure exactly what it does though, but people can have a look. They just go to ETH Tracker and find it, and if you click on it, it'll take you to the wallet profiler so you can understand it better.
Cool. On the wallet profiler, now you can see like who created it, right?
That's right. So I think if we click this, I mean, let's let that load in the background. I just wanted to show as well the top ETH balances is pretty cool, because there are some movements here that are worth highlighting. So Ethereum 2, so the ETH2 deposit contract has crossed 5 mil Ether, and so it's on track to become like the largest ETH holding address on Ethereum, I guess, or at least this year, no doubt. Maybe within a couple of months, it's going to surpass wrapped Ether. But liquidity here as well, like the active pool has almost 1 million Ether in it, 900,000 Ether. And also Polygon is the 12th largest ETH holder. So this is basically a bridge to the Matic network or Polygon network.
Nice.
Yeah. But speaking of Polygon, I mean, hope everyone who's watching who has a Nansen account has claimed their free Matic tokens. If you haven't,
can you tell them where the button shows up and how they claim it?
The button's going to show up around here in the nav bar. So if you've ever had a Nansen subscription, you'll be able to claim. The only thing is you need to have an active account now to claim. So if you used to have a Nansen account, but you churned for whatever reason, you just have to basically reactivate the account again by purchasing like another month, and then you can claim the tokens. And what's the price of Matic now? Just to get an idea of like
2.2, I think we're talking.
2.15. So 2.15 times 60 tokens. So it's like $129 worth of Matic tokens that you get delivered right to, right on the Matic network, so Matic chain. And so you can start using them right away. Like within seconds, you should receive the tokens.
Where are some places that maybe we can pull up the ecosystem dashboard and point out a couple of the places that we've seen people use their, use Matic. So I would say in recent conversations, a lot of people are using Matic for farming, obviously. And a couple of the big spots are Curve and Aave. And the reason why it's interesting farming on those, one is the transaction fees are a lot lower. The second thing is you can, I can't remember what the expression is, roll up or something like that, or like you can basically like compound your rewards really effectively on Matic because the gas fees are so low.
That's right.
And so you can really juice your rewards quite aggressively on Matic because of that.
Yeah. Look at SushiSwap here. That's quite a lot of transactions too. So you can see, where people are using them. So both in terms of number of daily active addresses, which by the way keeps pumping, which is good news, and the number of transactions. It might be easier to see it here. We do have some like silly mistakes here, or they're like basically SushiSwap written two different ways, and they should be consolidated. That's going to get fixed later today. But yeah, this is still
max twice there.
Still in beta. Yeah, exactly. Right, stuff like that, which is silly.
And isn't it DFIN, DFYN, or am I mistaken on
that? Could be. I'm not sure actually, but we'll have the team look at it. This is why this is still in beta. Disclaimer. So effectively, this is an ecosystem dashboard, but we're going to roll out Polygon support for like the core Nansen dashboards very soon. So you can use like token god mode, wallet profiler, etc. But this is kind of the nice way for us to, like, first of all, it's faster for us to ship this ecosystem dashboard. But secondly, as we just observed, like it's a good way for us to also, make sure that we have good enough data quality and so on before we start rolling out the core dashboards. So yeah, stay tuned for these other core dashboards to be supporting Polygon over the next few weeks as well.
Have you been following along with the Arbitrum launch and these other scaling solutions?
I have not. I mean, I spoke to the Arbitrum team a while back. I think most people were aware that like they've been saying they're going to launch like within the next few weeks for a couple of months now. But I think that now they're actually really close, right? So it's going to be very exciting to see them roll out. We don't yet have support for them, but like it is something that the team has started looking at, or they're going to start looking at very soon. We do have support for Optimism on the back end, but I think the Optimism launch is dragging out a bit. So it could be that we actually just end up rolling out support for Arbitrum before we roll out support for Optimism. But we are like keeping a very close eye on these different side chains and L2s and everything, and trying to, of course, support the stuff that people actually use. Right.
David in the chat has a great question. Before I ask it, I'll just say if anyone else has any questions in the chat, feel free to write them. Or if anyone has any projects they want us to look into, feel free to mention it. But the question is, what were some of the biggest challenges integrating with Polygon versus with Ethereum?
So that would be a better question for the platform engineers to answer. But what I can say high level is that they were actually quite similar, because both of them are EVM based. So a lot of the stuff that we've done in the past could be reused. I would say maybe some challenges that at least I am aware of. Well, first of all, the block times are shorter. I think it's something like 2 or 3 seconds on Polygon, and that has some kind of annoying implications when you try to work with the nodes and stuff like that. So when we were doing the airdrop, for example, we were going to go live on the Thursday, but then we had issues with the nodes. Like, we weren't able to update the nonce correctly because we had kind of racing conditions with multiple people claiming at the same time. And because of the short block times, it made it a little bit hard to manage the nonce updates. And so that's something we didn't expect, because we never really had that problem with Ethereum, for example. But we just had to, build some workarounds around it. In terms of the data integration, the good thing is we can reuse a lot of stuff that we have for Ethereum, but we also have to create, dedicated like entity tagging for Polygon, right? Not all that stuff carries over. Like, all the smart contracts have their own implementations and therefore also their own addresses. But the good thing is that many people use the same addresses, right? So if you look down here, 34% of all the Polygon addresses are already on Ethereum. And so there's a good chance that we already have labels on addresses that we have seen on Ethereum L1. So that's kind of nice. It gives us like a head start on labeling. But yeah, so I would say like the fact that the block times are a bit shorter was one kind of tricky thing. The other thing was also that we struggled with the nodes themselves. Like, we tested out different node providers because we didn't want to run the nodes ourselves. So we had an external node provider that we used, and they had some issues. And also, the blockchain explorers are like not as robust as, for example, Etherscan. And that's just because it's a younger chain, right? So a lot of the infrastructure is still quite young with Polygon. And I think it is kind of a healthy reminder that there's actually tons of useful infrastructure in Ethereum that we take for granted. So having Etherscan, for example, having good APIs to use for looking at data balances, token balances, stuff like that. We take a lot of that for granted. And when you use a new chain like Polygon, you see that, hey, actually, a lot of this stuff just doesn't come by itself, right? So I would say those are the main challenges. Yeah.
Cool. That's some good color. All right. In the final kind of 15 minutes here, I say we dive into wild credit, since it was topical. And then we also have some notes here on TrueFi, which hopefully will be useful for anyone who's interested in, I guess, staking some USDC, some TF USDC potentially.
Yeah, let's look at those separately. So wild credit, first of all, had an exploit today, and thankfully the exploiter was labeled in Nansen, and it turned out to be a white hat exploit. And so we also happened to have a direct contact line with the entity that controlled the address that made the exploit. So we were able to give them a heads up that maybe they should speak to the wild credit team. And so they graciously returned the funds, which is a very nice thing to do. I haven't looked into the details, but my understanding is that effectively they front ran another exploiter, but I think they did it like pretty much automated, because basically they are very, very, very smart people, and they have good tooling to spot profitable transactions that they might be able to front run. But I don't want to comment on the details too much, because I actually haven't read up on the details yet. But that's high level my understanding of it. Yeah, you can see like people interacting with wild credit. So you can look at, for example, transactions. Actually, you can look at token deposits into the contract. There were lots of different tokens that people could deposit here. So you could also look at a wallet profiler for token. In fact, we could do this on the side and like maybe pick one of the, actually, yeah, this is the lending pair. So not 100% sure if this is going to show what we want. Let's see if we can do that. Wallet profiler for token. Let's just check like DAI or something like that to see if we can see something interesting.
Can you explain what you're trying to see here?
Yeah, I want to see the actual deposits into the contract, because sure, we see like 327 Ether, but you know, it's not only Ether that's been deposited. In fact, there's like 677,000 DAI that went into this. So I suspect this might be like a DAI specific address. And yeah, this is the wallet profile. We could do top depositors as well. Actually, I'll show this too. So if I just plug in the same address, but then I have to grab the DAI token address. I'll grab that from Etherscan there. It's clunked still, but it's low in the background. You can see like the top transactions in DAI into this address. And you can also see people withdrawing the funds probably when that hack was communicated.
So practically speaking here, because some people might not have context on wild credit, maybe you can pull up the interface real quick. Is it wild.credit or what's the site?
It forces you to actually log in.
And you have to log in with Wallet Connect?
Looks like it.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. What do you stake in here? You stake either single assets or you stake LP tokens?
Yeah, you can. I haven't looked at it super closely, but you can basically do one-sided farming. So you can deposit tokens that you can get yields on one side. In practice, I mean, I think, yeah, you have you have pairs in the platform, but I don't actually know how that looks like from the on-chain perspective. So you see Ether coming in here, for example, right? Yeah. I mean, this is not even labeled. Like, we should have a label for this.
As a side note, by the way, at nansen.ai/research, we've got an article called "A Farmer's Guide to Yield," which you can check out, and it's got some additional information about farming.
Yeah, that's a good tip. We don't have too much time, so I don't think we should go down this rabbit hole, especially since it's been exploited as well. But people can check out the different contracts, obviously, on their own. The other one that you mentioned was this TrueFi pool, right? And so this has a lot of USDC. So here, I think the right thing to do would be to actually look at the top depositors. So let's look at that deposit address. Let's grab the USDC contract. And then that's like, what is that, 6 decimals? Yeah, so we have to update this. It's like not totally standard. And we can just let that load, and we can see who the top depositors of USDC into the top depositors dashboard are. Let's see.
I feel like on that top depositors dashboard, like the initial interface for plugging things in, it should default to the whitelist one. And then if it doesn't have the whitelist one, you click like a little button that says custom or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. So you should just select the symbol, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. It should really be like Etherscan, right? And this is on the roadmap, but it does take a little bit of time to do it. So if you could write USDC here, right, you get a drop down like this. But you could also just paste the contract and you will see USDC, although it didn't actually display the token, which is interesting. But you should be able to use either, basically, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if we get something here. I think it's been pretty slow today. I'm not sure what's going on, why it's so much slower.
It's having a bad day.
It's having a bad day. There we go. Token balance less than 0.001 because it didn't use the token decimals. Why not? Gonna have to load it again. That's a bug. Worth noting down if anyone's watching. Didn't seem to use the token decimals.
We can bring the music back here.
Nice. Loading music.
It's too bad we can't have this going on at the same time. We'll have to figure that out. Maybe you need to plug in 0.6 for token decimals.
Maybe. I think it just didn't grab it for some reason. Biggest Wi-Fi farmer. Did you switch off the music? It disappeared on my end.
Why? I swapped back the screen.
Okay. Got it. Biggest Wi-Fi farmer. 12 mil USDC in this pool. Got some Flash Boys, Smart LP, some heavy DEX traders. Only 94 though. That's not a lot of addresses. Degenerate ape operation.eth. Kekno.eth. OpenSea user ender.eth.
So TrueFi is uncollateralized lending DeFi protocol, and so I think you post like a request for a loan.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yes, and then they have basically kind of white-listed borrowers.
Yeah. So
they have a USDC pool and a TUSD pool. TUSD is actually their token, right? Because this is Trust Token, the Trust Token team that issues TrueUSD.
So what was the largest depositor again there? On page 1?
Medium DEX trader, and then biggest Wi-Fi farmer.
So those guys are doing pretty well, getting 43% on 70, whatever that was, on 17 mil.
Yeah.
Assuming they're different people, that's pretty healthy.
Yeah, that's actually pretty attractive yields these days.
Yeah, on 17 mil, like, so whoever found that opportunity is definitely doing quite well.
Yeah. They're getting true rewards, right? That's the, I guess, governance token.
Yeah. What's the 7 day, 2 hours? Days left? Oh, so this is on their loan?
Maybe you have to lock it up for that amount of time.
Okay.
Not sure. Or maybe, no, sorry. I would guess it's just how long the liquidity rewards last. About 7 days. So yeah, I guess you got the ROI weekly, right? So actually that's maybe, you can get 0.83% on your cash by locking it up there.
Nice.
Yeah, it makes sense for a large amount, right? But the gas costs and all that stuff for like 0.83%, it needs to be a decent amount of money.
Well, let's pull up gas now.
Oh yeah, it's actually not too bad. I normally use, well, I don't have it here now, but let's look at this one. It's pretty low, so maybe it's not a bad time to ape in.
Or buy some ENS names. If anyone's been waiting to buy any buy an ENS name, now's a good time.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, if you ever want to buy an ENS name and kind of have us track you more closely, intentionally, to do like a sort of trading competition, let us know. We want to see if there's some interest. There's been interest in the past, but we never kind of pulled the trigger on doing a trading competition, but it could be quite interesting to have a group of people do a trading competition by buying an ENS name and having them get tracked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a cool idea. Alrighty.
All right. Any other questions in the chat before we start wrapping it up? There was one question, which is back when we were talking about NFTs. The question is, to bet on this compelling case for NFTs, what are the projects that you are betting on? I don't know if you want to.
I mean, personally, I'm betting on Axie Infinity.
There you go.
That's, but because I know the team, I've followed them since the very beginning, so I like them a lot. Yeah, so that's I think it's no secret that I've been shilling them in various different contexts. But do your own research, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested in. I'm actually not too active on the like gaming stuff. Here, let me pull the lo-fi back up here. I'm not too active on the gaming stuff, but I do like NFTs quite a bit. I like the collectibles like Meebits or CryptoPunks. I think CryptoPunks are super interesting. There's been some good threads recently about kind of the value prop of CryptoPunks. One of the main stats that I thought really was quite interesting is the Meebits sale effectively took out like 18K ETH worth of buying pressure on CryptoPunks. So anyone who's kind of sitting on the sidelines looking at the Larva Labs projects, they're either looking at CryptoPunks or Autoglyphs and didn't want to deploy their capital yet. As soon as Meebits came out, like it kind of sucked a lot of that buying pressure out. So it makes sense that the floor price of CryptoPunks has dropped quite a bit. I think during the Meebits sale, it peaked at like 24 or 25. What is it now? larvalabs.com/CryptoPunks. You can scroll down and check out the floor price is currently 15.5. And the floor price basically means the lowest priced punk available. So no one is currently selling a CryptoPunk for under 15.5 ETH, which is 44K. So if you think that over time, more money will flow into the space, more interest will be on NFTs or there will be more interest in NFTs and all that kind of stuff. Makes sense to, there's a case for CryptoPunks going up. Obviously, DYOR, and this isn't a CryptoPunk shill. It's more just like interesting ways that people are viewing the NFT space and betting on these different aspects.
Yeah, I think like the metaverse investment case is also quite compelling. If you bet on the right universe, if you buy land in the right universe, that is quite interesting. And I think that most land projects have done quite well. If you look at the different NFT like games and metaverses like CryptoVoxels and Decentraland, I think most land in sales have actually had pretty high ROI.
Yeah, that's what we were saying before, and that's I think why there is more interest in the Ember Sword launch, which is in an hour or something, hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap things up. Anything to add before we close out?
I'm digging the jazzy lo-fi hip hop beats. We should keep doing this. If we have any artists there, maybe we can request a playlist and then we'll chill you live here on office hours.
That's true. We still haven't gotten our jingles yet.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to sing us another one?
Oh, man.
Last time you did your Flintstones one?
Yeah, I can't top the last one.
Nansen.
Yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. And we will see you probably next Wednesday. This week we had to shift our schedules around a little bit, but next Wednesday at 9 a.m. EST. And have a fantastic weekend. Be safe in the markets.
Have a good one. Ciao.